Alright guys, I'm back. I've just given you my thoughts on the lightweight division. Obviously that going into what happened at UFC 262. I also talked about the welterweight division. And now I think what division you guys can guess is definitely rounds out the trifecta of the most interesting divisions in the UFC. It's obviously the heavyweight division. So obviously heavyweight division, we have Francis Ngannou, then we have Derek Lewis, Jon Jones, and Stipe Miocic. I think it's really a big four. I don't think there's a lot else, and I don't think that's really what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about what's next, who's going to be the champion of the heavyweight division, who's going to be the baddest man alive, because the heavyweight champion is the baddest man alive. So we saw Francis Ngannou absolutely destroy Stipe Miocic, and Stipe had the record for most title defenses in the heavyweight division. So I think Stipe is going to get a shot back. But what we've been hearing, with Ngannou, his next fight isn't Stipe. It's going to be Derek Lewis or it's going to be Jon Jones. It doesn't seem like it's going to be Jon Jones. Jon Jones wants some money that Dana White can't agree on. And, they just doesn't seem like Dana White needs it that bad. Doesn't seem like Jon Jones wants it that bad. So neither side is able to budge. I think we're going to have Derek Lewis, which isn't the fight everyone wants to see, but it will be a great fight. We got two huge, badass mother frickers out there. I think Ngannou would win. I think Ngannou, as a pure striker, I think he's one of the best in the UFC. Just, he only needs one shot to connect. He's kind of like, Deontay Wilder, and he hits you once and it's over. And in UFC with 4-ounce gloves, it's even more magnified. And I don't think a guy like Derek Lewis, who kind of also relies on size, is going to be his kryptonite, I think it's going to be a really skilled guy, and that leaves us with Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic. By the way, I'm not hating on Derek Lewis. I'm not saying he's not skilled, but I don't think he's the guy that's going to take the belt from Francis Ngannou. So, Jon Jones. I think that fight will happen. I think at some point Dana White's going to say, you know what? There's money on the table. Let me just take this money. I could be making more, but, they'll come to an agreement. Is Jon Jones going to beat Francis Ngannou? So a big theme we've been seeing recently, weight gain. Jon Jones is putting on weight. Obviously, he's coming from the light heavyweight division. And there's a big difference between light heavyweight and heavyweight. And we also saw Stipe is trying to put on weight. So if Jon Jones puts on weight, he's not going to be the same fighter. He'll still be very skilled. Technically, he's maybe the best UFC fighter of all time. Not the most accomplished. Obviously, that title belongs to Georges St. Pierre. But possibly the best, possibly most dominant. So he's not going to be able to move the same. He probably won't have the same endurance if he gains 20, 30 pounds. But, does he need to be? I think he gained some weight. I think he would have to win that fight on the ground. Just pure striking. I don't think you want to get into a striking battle with Francis Ngannou. I don't think that's a good idea. I wouldn't want to get into a striking battle with Francis Ngannou. And if you would, there's something wrong with you. So I think that would be a good fight. I think striking, I would take Ngannou. Wrestling, I would take Jon Jones, especially if he puts on that extra weight. So, much rather see that than Derek Lewis. I think we'll see both. I think we'll see Derek Lewis first, and that'll be a great fight. But I don't think that's where Ngannou's losing his belt. I think his first chance losing his belt is when he steps in the ring with Jon Jones. Next, obviously, rematch with Stipe Miocic. Stipe, when I watched that fight against Ngannou, he looked like a tiny man, honestly. Francis Ngannou towered over him. I think they're saying something like he was giving up 34 pounds to Ngannou in that fight. If he manages to put on 34 pounds of muscle, is that possible? I don't know about that. I really don't know. I don't, never count out Stipe, but putting on 34 pounds of muscle when you're working that hard and working all day, every day, that's going to be pretty tough. But he puts on 34 pounds of muscle. The wrestling, he's going to win that wrestling game, just as I said John Jones would. At this point, I don't think anyone is going to outstrike Francis Ngannou. So it's just about weight gain for both John Jones and Stipe Miocic. They both put on weight. They can both win the wrestling game. They both have a chance at dethroning the UFC heavyweight champ, Francis Ngannou. Those were my fighting words, and I'm out.